But we are going to move on to our penultimate game in the Yo bracket. That is the Tigress fight of Gladiator, going up against the breaking of the wall in the Two Towers, or Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers. So this is part of Helm's Deep, but it's not all of Helm's Deep. You have the Uruk-hai are marching on the causeway up the bridge. At the same time, you have the orc that blows the wall, and you have Gimli tries to save Aragorn. Aragorn saves Gimli, and then it's the classic Legolas slides down the stairwell. Mm-hmm. So that is the sequence that I found that I think best fits Helm's Deep. Because once again, I looked it up to be accurate. There is almost 40 minutes of runtime for the Helm's Deep battle in that movie. So we can't just say 40 minutes of Helm's Deep wins.
Not surprising. Yeah. So I did 6-4 in favor of Lord of the Rings.
I went 7-3 in favor of the Two Towers as well.
I mean, you can't really argue with the Gladiator fight. It is a great fight.
Yes.
Actually, like, in terms of fighting sequences, it's one of the best one-on-one fights in the tournament, I would say.
And it's shot one of the best as well.
Yeah. It's just a shame that it went up against... It's another one where it just went up against something that is just like... undeniably great sequence.
Yes.
So it's like, it's a shame. Because everything about Gladiator, you can't argue with it. Like, production design, amazing. The only thing that doesn't really hold up amazing is the visual effects. But that's just early 2000s compositing where they are real tigers that they're compositing into the scene.
Even still, they look pretty damn good.
No, it looks good, but like, because I've seen so much behind the scenes on that movie, I see the...
You see the dots, you see the wireframes, you see what they're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I see behind it, so it's like, that's the only thing that goes against it in my mind. But like, I love when, like, they're pulling the tiger away from the guy, Tigress.
Yeah.
And then the crowds are just booing and shit. Like...
So I think the best part of... I don't think that fight by itself, just the fight, is super exciting. I think it's really cool. But I don't think the fight by itself is super exciting. What makes it exciting, and I understand my own bias here, it's just pro wrestling. Where it's your babyface, your heel, and the crowd is the third character. The crowd is what makes that scene not just good, but iconic. And the crowd work by Maximus is also what makes him the ultimate babyface. Like, that is such a babyface move to where at the end of the fight is tremendous.
Which is ironic because the entire movie he's like, he doesn't give a shit about the crowd. He's just like,
no,
he resents them pretty much the entire movie.
And the thing is, it's the perfect... If you want to understand why sports is compelling and the athletes that we love in history, we just worship them, it's because they have the crowd in the palm of their hand. It's the same reason why I love pro wrestling, because you want to go on the ride. You want the manipulation of everything. It's not that... Cody Rhodes isn't getting punched in the face to the point where he's going to bleed out. But you just want him to get up and be the American Nightmare. You just want him to get up so you can cheer for him, because that's who he is. It's perfect here, where it's literally like just watching Stone Cold Steve Austin. Nah, fuck you, boss. I'm not going to do what you want, and I'm going to teach these people how it's actually supposed to be. It's textbook. It's perfect.
Yeah. Great ending, as well, where he spares them, Yeah,
and he spares them in spite of the Emperor and the whole crowd who's been cheering death, 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 death. They all turn in an instant, and they're like, "No, this guy's right. We like this guy. Fuck it."
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, he's the merciful. We love him, and you're like, you're just cheering for him to fucking slaughter a guy 5 seconds ago. God damn.
Yep.
But again, the tiger work is really well done. I love that that shot of him getting the tiger on its back or on his back, where you're just like, that would suck.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not familiar enough to say this with confidence. There was the one like tiger cry that I was like, I'm pretty sure that's a panther or a jaguar,
Pretty much,
but
pretty much all tigers and lions in movies are wrong. Pretty much.
yes, they all
Because
have
because
jungle
lions,
cats.
yes, because lions do not roar typically like they do in the movies. They have a very deep like bellow,
Yeah,
really.
yeah,
So like, yeah, anytime they roar, not lions don't do that shit.
yeah.
Sorry. Hate to break it to you, but just the thing.
And again, this is a super
Um
nitpicky thing that I was like, I'm not sure they sound like that, but
I do really like that. Like, could you imagine how bad it would have been if they tried doing like CG tigers back in 2000?
oh god, it would have
Oh God,
could have been real
George
bad.
Lucas would have tried pulling it off.
Here's the thing, though. He at least would have made it look good. You'd say what you want about Phantom Menace. That shit looks good, dog. I don't know if the tigers would have looked good, but everything else looks
No,
good.
anything with fur would not hold up. It would have
Furs.
looked like Monsters Inc.
What's really crazy is fur is so tough for visual effects people to this day, where they're like,
Yes,
I hate anything
exactly.
with fur. I hate it.
That's yes. That's why Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes was like another groundbreaking thing this year. Like they're still working on fur.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to pull off.
Yeah, but I love it's textbook babyface heel stuff here. Where Tigers comes in and you're like,
Mhm.
you fucking hired gun. Like, there's nothing about that character that screams, like, the character itself does not scream, I'm a heel, you should hate me.
Oh
But
no,
because of,
actually, I think he seems pretty honorable.
he seems pretty honorable. Also, the costuming that he has with that slider helmet and the teardrop on the mask, that's awesome. That is some good looking
Mhm.
costume work. That shit's beautiful. It's just that textbook nature of he's the hired gun for the ultimate heel. Ergo,
Yeah,
fuck you, you need to die because you're up against our
yeah,
guy. So I really appreciate that. Again, my thing with Two Towers is I will elaborate more. That scene in Two Towers is some of the best fantasy world building you could ever do, and you never know they're world building at the time.
yeah.
So,
Uh, there's a lot of reasons it's great. We'll dive deeper into it obviously in the future, but like I watched the behind the scenes thing, and like one of the groundbreaking things is like um the breakthrough of crowd work in visual effects.
yeah,
Like before you could really simulate crowds
yeah.
before, and they were able to do that in Two Towers. So in those Helms Deep, it's really important for it to be a crowd
Oh,
and
yeah.
not just, you know, single piece
I mean,
armies,
just
you know.
think about the money you'd have to spend in costuming alone to outfit
Yeah.
all those people and all the extra work and all the other stuff you got to do if you're going to
Yeah,
do
exactly.
that. And they still had an enormous amount of people working on it. It's not as if the whole thing is just, well, we created an army of 10,000 Urukai. It's like, no, there's still hundreds of
Yeah.
people in Urukai costumes and makeup. It's just the shit way in the back of the scene, that's computer generated. But yeah, Two Towers is such a phenomenal film. We're heading for some good matchups in round 2 here. But Two Towers takes it 13-7 up against Gladiator. Again, Gladiator, luck of the draw, and you didn't get the luck of the draw.